Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is PsychoGold, this is PsychoGold Videos, and today we're going to be finishing Mob Psycho 100 with the final episode, number 12. Now, last time on Mob Psycho 100, we had a really emotional rollercoaster of an episode. We saw Mob reuniting with Shinji, we saw Mob reuniting with his master Reagan, we saw Reagan trying to defend the kids from the adult Espers the only way he knows how, which is to basically try and con them into not fighting him and debating with them in an argument, so to speak. We then saw Mob, Hanazawa, I think is Blondie's name, and Shinji try and fight off the Espers after Reagan's plan backfired and it ended up just making them angry. And he basically come to the conclusion that they aren't adults, they're kids. You know, they never grew up, they never matured, and it's quite an interesting viewpoint to have of the world as a whole, but yeah. Reagan kind of made the situation worse, even though he did get them out of the psychic room, so even though he might have made the situation worse, if it wasn't for him, they'd have still been trapped, so did he help? I guess that's kind of up to the audience to decide. I think he helped. He just could have handled everything after he got them out a little bit better. Because if all he had done was make them angry, then it probably could have been dealt with by Mob and the other two. Unfortunately, he was also influencing Mob to not use his psychic powers to fight the other Espers. He went up and fought them physically, adult to adult, thinking that he needed to protect the children, not really grasping the seriousness of the situation. He didn't want Mob to get into the same sort of level as they were. Maybe he was worried that Mob would turn into them. I don't really know what Reagan's motives were. He did seem genuinely concerned for Mob, even though he seemed quite happy to let Shinji and Blondie die, which seemed a bit odd. He was like, we need to just run. Like, he never actually specifically said we're just gonna leave him, but if Mob ran away, that's essentially what they'd be doing. So I kind of had very mixed reaction to Reagan in that particular scene. But one scene I didn't have a mixed reaction to is how the episode ended. Just as Mob was about to unleash his power against the Espers, Reagan came along and stopped him and basically told him that he doesn't have to do that. He was trying to keep him calm and he told him not to fight. And as he was saying all of that, one of the Espers came up behind him and put a sword through his back. And as far as I can tell, Reagan bit the dust there and then and crumpled to the floor in front of Mob. And the episode ended with Mob hitting 100%, and that's when it faded to the credits. Now, like I said, it's possible Reagan could still be alive, but I genuinely don't think he is. I think that's the end of Reagan. And Mob watched it happen. So I think that this episode is going to be... Mob's not going to be holding back anymore, let's put it that way. Now, I didn't really know what to say at the end of the last episode. I was genuinely shocked, and it's been a little while since I've watched the episode. I took a break and decided to do some other stuff and watch something else to try and get my mind out of it, because I genuinely wasn't expecting it from this show. I mean, this show really hasn't... It's a very deep show, but it hasn't really shown that it was going to delve into that kind of moment, and it just took me completely by surprise. So I'm very interested to see what this finale episode has in store. So without further ado, let's get back into it, guys, and let's see just what happens next. I think Mob is about to rip these people apart limb from limb. So without further ado, let's dive back into it. 3, 2, 1, go. The cut went straight through the floor as well as him. Oh! Everybody else, hit the floor. Here we go.
本当は誰も傷つけたくないんだ。でもやらなきゃやられちゃうじゃないか。
Oh.
そう思ったから。
What?
びっくりさせんなよ。マジで切られたと思ったじゃねえか。
なぜ立っていられる？
What?
どうした急に。
なんかいつものあの人だ。
Someone What? Nah, I don't trust this at all. What? Hang on a minute, has he got psychic powers after all? Oh, what the hell? Okay guys, I am lost. I am so completely confused. The only thing I can think of is that Mob is actually doing this, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, Reagan doesn't seem to have a clue. Oh! So Reagan has Mob's powers at this moment. Okay. 1000%. I was gonna say, like, he's using his powers better than Mob was. Okay. This is like being hit by a freight train. Oh! But he's got Mob's powers running through him. I'll wager that he's gonna be completely fine. I was not expecting this for a finale. This is ridiculous, man. What? Inconceivable. Oh good, so we get to have the sub-story of the bad guys. Okay, this is suddenly getting very art style. Wait a minute. That worked on Mob. Why didn't it work on Reagan? Is this barrier that ridiculously strong? This is just so not what I was expecting at all. He's like scolding them like they are genuinely children. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought he was a girl too. Well, at least he's still alive. Okay, I think he's a little bit broken, this guy. Yeah. Oh. Wait, Mob's out of energy as well? Whoa, he's losing it. Oh! The other kid! Oh, I wondered who would win if these two went up against each other. Okay. Oh, so he's pretty powerful in his own right too. Uh-oh. I think you're about to get... Yeah. I had a feeling that would happen. He managed to win against all those spirits. Oh, that's interesting. So the four of them together could go up against Claw. Yeah, I really hope there's more seasons of this coming. Because this clearly is an ending in this episode, obviously. So is Dimple gonna be like a good guy, quote unquote? Like, obviously he's never gonna be 100% force for good, but... maybe he could stick around and help them. Go up against other evil spirits and the like. That could be interesting. Staring at girls is all well and good, is it? Damn, he's gonna apologize? That's good. He looks a lot better as well. He doesn't look like he's on the verge of collapsing. Oh, his brother's on his side now. Yay, they managed to work it out. Oh, damn, there's a lot of self-reflection going on in this episode. He still thinks he's the shadow leader. Hey, he's part of the body fitness club as well. Nice. Fight on. So shouldn't Mob be with them? Oh wait, here he comes. He looks like he's about to pass out. Lol. I just like, he's just so not built for activities of a physical nature. Oh, it's him. Oh, that's so he's gonna try and mentor them. That's pretty cool. Well, that would be interesting, because one's a psychic and one's a pyrokinetic, so that would be interesting. Ha! Dimple has gone to Reagan. I was going to say, that's why he sent you. Even I could figure that out. Well, you were a high-level evil spirit, and then you got everything beaten out of you. So now he can fix it psychically. Brilliant. And their parents don't even react. It's like, oh, okay. So that's his dad. Okay. Very nice. So we're going to see his father come back, the head of the organization. Okay. Mob and Reagan, a giant Tsunaki appears. No, no it does not. What? Oh. Hello. Oh, and there it goes. But it's right there. Well, those two are an odd couple, that's for sure. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the end of Mob Psycho 100 Season 1. Well, guys, that episode took me by complete surprise. I was expecting something completely different. I was expecting an emotional episode. I was expecting for everything to go ballistic, crazy. I didn't think anything would be left standing in the wake of Mob's explosion, but turned out that what was actually going to happen was completely different. And I'm going to give props to this show because that has pretty much been the consistent theme of Mob Psycho. Every time I think I know where this show is going to go, it throws a curveball and goes in a completely different direction. And I'm just left here like, what? I don't think I've successfully guessed any of the plot points that are going to happen in this show, thinking about it. I think I've been wrong pretty much every single time, and that's just made me enjoy this show even more. It's very well written, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Mob. I really hope that there is a second season coming at some point, because that can't be it. Like, they set way too much up for at least one more season, but it's probably got more. And like I said in one of my earlier videos, I am really tempted to pick up the Mob Psycho manga, which is possibly the first time I've ever been tempted to do that. I might even have to say that I prefer Mob Psycho 100 to One Punch Man. As much as I enjoy One Punch Man, don't get me wrong, it's still one of my favorite anime. But I actually think Mob Psycho 100 is a stronger anime overall. And I really hope that we get a second season. I'm really hyped for One Punch Man Season 2, but yeah, I'm going to be looking into seeing what the deal is with Mob Psycho 100 Season 2 as soon as I finish talking about this last episode. And what an episode it was. Reagan got to wield the power of Mob psychic energy, albeit for a short time, but even so, he was able to effortlessly take apart the other Espers when he had the power of Mob within him. It's also left him with the ability to see evil spirits, which has now obviously given him a greater understanding of the dangers that he was in all the time when he couldn't see anything. On top of that, he's now got Dimple-sama on his side / working for him, and it seems like Dimple is becoming an ally to the group. You've got Hanazawa is going to be training those other kids who have some very small amounts of psychic energy, but maybe by the time they get rolled into action, they'll actually be able to put out a lot of power between them. I.e., we saw that one of the other members of Claw was a pyrokinetics, so why wouldn't the guy that was able to ignite his finger be able to get to that same level of power if he has training from some other Espers and they're able to use that rich guy's funds to build a facility and like actually go in a right direction with people who not necessarily know what they're talking about, but at least, you know, other Espers will stand a better chance of training Espers than people who don't really even understand what an Esper is. So it could be very interesting to have their own little group of Espers to go up against Claw when Claw comes back. I also love how much was still left unanswered. Like, Mob didn't go mental when he lost consciousness, but they didn't really explain why. And he didn't actually go into that explosion that we saw at the beginning of Mob Psycho 100 in the first episode. So I'm not sure now whether that was actually him fighting off spirits and then it just cuts to something else, or whether we are still in the process of leading up to that moment and, you know, it's not going to get there until the end of the series or something. I don't know. Over the course of the series, I think we got some really good character developments from everybody involved. Blondie and Dimple obviously had a big character development. They started off as antagonists, but they pretty much became protagonists as the show went on. Their personalities changed to reflect that. More so Blondie than Dimple. Dimple was still very much a bad guy, but he was just trying to use the situation to his advantage. But he did come through on several occasions and try to help out. He never succeeded, but at least he tried. Mob also was able to better understand what was going on with the world around him. He's not changed by his experience, but he is much more comfortable in his own shoes now, whereas when the show started, he was very much unsure of himself and not wanting to really do anything. And all he knew is he wanted to change, but he didn't really know how. Now he is effectively embracing the idea of change, which is ironically what his brother has done as well. In reverse, his brother has always wanted to change, and now he's embracing the idea of maybe he doesn't need to. You know, he's more secure in himself because everything up to that had been an act. So they were kind of like both going on the same journey, just from different perspectives, and I kind of like that. You know, Shinji is really good at everything that doesn't involve psychic powers, and now he has psychic powers. So now he's got them, he's realized that his brother actually was being genuine, and everybody was, you know, still liked him even without psychic powers. Having psychic powers didn't really make any difference to his life. If anything, it made it worse. And he was kind of like realizing the hard way that, you know, he'd been a bad person, for want of a better phrase, and now he kind of needed to fix that, own up to it, and just, you know, make a change in his own life to go back to being the person that he always wanted to be and was kind of faking it, and now he's doing it for real. And obviously the brothers are now closer, and, you know, they're going to help each other change, and they're going to help each other grow, and they're going to be there for each other, which is ironic because obviously we saw at the end that the school council president is also doing the same thing, and his brother is now on his side. And when we saw him originally, he was very much like a detriment to his brother. And I think the fact that, you know, he was able to open up and talk to him, you know, brothers and siblings do care about each other. They might, you know, also get on your nerves the most out of anybody you know, but deep down they do care about you, and they do care about each other. If you know, if you don't have any, other siblings do care about each other. But don't get me wrong, not every family is like that, but you'd be surprised how many times people who think their family hates them will actually, you know, move heaven and earth to help them. But a lot of people just don't ask, and they don't talk to each other, so how do they know? Right guys, that's going to bring Mob Psycho 100 to a close. It's been a great ride, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm really sad to be getting off this hype train because every single episode has been amazing. I don't know what else to say about this particular episode other than it completely defied my expectations. It is easily one of the best episodes of the show, and it took me completely by surprise. I really hope there's a second season, like I said, and please leave comments down below letting me know what you thought of the show as a whole, and let me know what you thought about this reaction, as you always do. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like as always, but that's going to be it from me guys. If you're new around here, don't forget to click subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, if you want to head over to Patreon, this entire series has been available from start to finish before the first episode ever went on YouTube. I don't do that for every show, and I probably won't do it again for a while, but it was a great way to give back to the patrons on the Patreon, and if you want to be there when I do this again, whatever that anime may be, the only way to do that is to go and check out the page and become part of the elite squad of the Golden Army. But that's going to be it today, dudes, and that's going to be it for this show. So for the final time for Mob Psycho 100, at least until they announce a second season, I am Psycho Gold, and I will see you in my next video. Psycho Gold, out.